So what are production checklists and why are they so important? Let's make this thing. So here I am at the Manchester, the Museum of Science and Industry, and this is the Manchester Science Festival. I've just completed an event with Tim Peake, the astronaut who spent 6 months in space this year, and I had a very important question to ask him.
Yeah.
How many checklists did you have to do a day?
Checklist?
Checklists, yeah.
Wow, everything we do is done by procedure on board the space station, so we're constantly working with checklists.
Yeah. And how many times have the checklist saved you from doing something daft when you're on the
all the time. There's no way you can possibly remember everything, so we follow the procedures religiously, and that's what keeps everything safe on board the station.
Okay, thank you very much, Tim.
Right.
Thanks for your thoughts.
Thank you very much.
So there you go, from an astronaut himself, why checklists are so important. You cannot remember everything you think you remember. If you could sit down in a blank room and just write down, this is all the list of things I need to do, I'm sure you would be able to write down everything you could do and remember to do them. But when you're in a production environment and you've got cameras being set up over there, and you've got SD cards which you've misplaced, and you've got some different ones, or the internet connectivity is dropping out, and you can't connect to the Wi-Fi, and all this stuff is going on, there's no way that you can remember everything that you need to do, which is why I use checklists. I have a whole folder here full of checklists for different things. Single camera filming checklist, single camera streaming checklist. I have a checklist just for people for setting up cameras. So each camera, I can run down the checklist really quickly and I know everything's ready. Also, I have a YouTube production checklist. So this video, which I've started now, well, I kind of started it impromptu because I just had the opportunity to interview an astronaut, but I also have a checklist for this, which starts with duplicating a checklist on Keep, duplicating it over, changing the colour, and then going down item by item. So I'm going to have a link to my YouTube production checklist in the description below. So you might think, well, okay, so I'm not in a spaceship, I'm not a surgeon, I don't need a checklist to save anybody's lives, but it could be your business at stake here, and especially with live streaming, you've got to remember that this event is happening once. It's not a production where you can go back and say, oh, can we get that shot again, can we get this shot again, let's try it from this other angle. I had one chance of getting this morning's event done correctly, and I have one chance of live streaming it out to the world so everybody can see it on the internet and share it much wider. So, and if you miss that chance, you've missed it, and that's why I use checklists, to make sure I don't mess up when I'm live streaming, to make sure I don't let the small things fall through the gaps, and to make sure that I don't lose money in the long run, because I am going to forget things, I am going to mess up sometimes, and the checklists, like this one that I've used today, stops me from messing up, or at least reduces the chances of it. So I'm Nathan Ray. Tweet me at Nathan Ray. Any questions or comments you can leave below, or you can find me on Twitter, or I'm nathan@nathanray.co.uk on the email. So thank you very much. That was my checklist manifesto. Thank you for watching. Oh, and also thank you for Tim Peake for his input into this video. Bye.
When we're out on the spacewalk as well, often I'd be going past handrails and I would see dents in handrails where the space station's been hit by small micrometeorites. Now, anything larger than a tiny micrometeorite is being tracked by a ground station, satellites and radar. And so the space station partners will actually tell us to reboost the station at certain occasions to change the orbit so that we avoid space debris. And if they see something really late, and that we haven't got time to change the space station orbit, they'll ask us to shelter inside the Soyuz as like a safe haven, close the hatches, ready to undock and come back if something goes badly wrong. But that used to happen about once a year. That's now happening about 4 times a year, is to change the orbit. So we are seeing more incidents of space debris.
You guys are going to be able to ask your questions very, very shortly, if that's okay. So,